Japan, land of sushi, samurai, and yes, trains. Not just any trains, mind you, we're talking about trains that make your average commuter rail look like a sleepy donkey. Back in 1964, just as Tokyo was getting ready to host the Olympics, they unveiled something truly revolutionary. It was called the Shinkansen, or New Trunk Line. But let's be honest, bullet train sounds way cooler, and that's what stuck. This wasn't just a faster way to get from A to B, it was a statement. It told the world that Japan was back, technologically advanced, and ready to move forward literally at incredible speed. The first Shinkansen line, the Tokaido Shinkansen, connected Tokyo and Osaka. Before the bullet train, this journey took nearly 7 hours. The Shinkansen slashed that time to around 4 hours, and eventually even less. Imagine the impact. Suddenly, business trips became easier. Visiting relatives became less of an ordeal. It was like someone had suddenly shrunk the country, in a good way. This wasn't just about convenience, it was about fundamentally changing how people perceive distance and time within their own nation. The development of the Shinkansen was a massive undertaking. It required new tracks, new signaling systems, and of course entirely new trains designed for high speeds. The arrival of the Shinkansen did more than just speed up travel. It became a symbol of Japan's post-war economic miracle. So, the first Shinkansen was a hit. Naturally, Japan didn't just stop there, they decided to build more of it. The initial Tokaido Shinkansen was just the beginning. The vision was to create a nationwide network of these high-speed lines, connecting major cities across the archipelago. Over the following decades, the Shinkansen network steadily grew, extending its reach further north, south, and west. New lines like the Sanyo, Tohoku, and Joetsu Shinkansen were constructed, bringing more regions into the high-speed fold. Each expansion meant more cities connected, more economic opportunities, and more people able to experience the joy of whizzing through the countryside at speeds that would make a sports car blush. The engineers kept pushing the boundaries too. Newer generations of Shinkansen trains became even faster, quieter, and more energy efficient. The national importance of this expanding network cannot be overstated. It facilitated business travel, boosted tourism to regional areas, and even influenced where people chose to live. Now it's easy to get mesmerized by the Shinkansen. It's fast, it's famous, it's the poster child for Japanese rail. But focusing only on the bullet trains would be like judging an iceberg by its tip. Beneath the high-speed glamour lies an incredibly dense, efficient, and utterly indispensable network of conventional rail lines. These are the workhorses of the Japanese transport system, carrying millions upon millions of passengers every single day, reliably and frequently. Without them, the whole system would grind to a halt, Shinkansen or no Shinkansen. These conventional lines, often called Zairaisen, serve every nook and cranny of the country. They connect sprawling metropolises with tiny rural villages. They take commuters to work, students to school, and everyone else to wherever they need to go. The frequency of these services is astonishing, especially in urban areas. Let's talk about something that sounds like a mythical creature in many parts of the world: punctual trains. In Japan, it's not a myth, it's an expectation. The punctuality of Japanese trains, both Shinkansen and conventional lines, is legendary. We're talking about delays being measured in seconds, not minutes or, heaven forbid, hours. If a train is significantly late, and by significantly we might mean more than 5 minutes, it becomes news. Apologies are issued, and sometimes passengers are even given official delay certificates to show their employers or schools. This obsession with punctuality isn't just for show, it's fundamental to how the system operates and how society functions. Businesses rely on it, commuters depend on it. The Japanese system avoids this chaos through meticulous planning, rigorous maintenance schedules, and highly skilled staff. Drivers, conductors, and control center operators work with incredible precision to keep everything running like, well, a Japanese watch. Then there's safety. Japan's railways have an outstanding safety record, especially the Shinkansen, which, incredibly, had 0 passenger fatalities due to derailments or collisions in its first 50-plus years of operation. Safety is paramount, built into the very DNA of the railways. Section 5. Mountains and Megacities, How Geography Helped Rail. You might think Japan's geography, all those mountains, all those islands, would be a nightmare for building railways, and in some ways, yes, it presents enormous engineering challenges. Tunneling through mountains isn't exactly a walk in the park. However, certain aspects of Japan's geography have actually played a significant role in making rail the dominant mode of transport. Firstly, Japan is a very mountainous country. About 73% of its land area is mountainous, which means flat, easily developable land is scarce. This scarcity has led to populations being concentrated in relatively small, dense coastal plains and valleys. These densely populated corridors are absolutely perfect for rail transport. Building extensive highway networks through such terrain is difficult and expensive, and cars become less practical when so many people live so close together. Section 6. Why trains rule the economic and cultural love affair. It's not just geography that makes trains the king in Japan. There's a deep-seated economic and cultural preference for rail travel. Economically, it just makes a lot of sense. For businesses, the reliability and speed of the Shinkansen mean that employees can travel between major cities for meetings and return the same day, maximizing productivity. Time is money, as they say, and Japanese railways save a lot of time. The cost of domestic flights can be higher, especially when you factor in travel time to and from airports often located outside city centers. And driving well with tolls, fuel costs, and the stress of navigating congested roads, it's often not the most appealing option for longer distances. Culturally, there's a certain romance and familiarity associated with trains in Japan. They are an integral part of daily life for so many people from childhood. School children often take trains independently from a young age, fostering a sense of comfort and trust in the system. Section 7. A new track, the Great Railway Sell-Off. For decades, the vast Japanese National Railways, or JNR, was a state-owned behemoth. It ran everything from the shiny Shinkansen to the smallest local lines. But by the 1980s, JNR was in a bit of a pickle. A massive, debt-ridden pickle. It was struggling with inefficiencies, a bloated workforce, and, frankly, it wasn't always adapting as quickly as it could to changing needs. The Japanese government, looking at this situation, decided that something drastic needed to be done, and that drastic something was privatization. The privatization of JNR in 1987 was one of the largest and most complex undertakings of its kind anywhere in the world. It wasn't just a simple sale. Section 8. After the sale, what privatization really did. So, what happened after this massive railway shakeup? Did the newly privatized JR companies soar to new heights? Or did the whole thing go off the rails, so to speak? Well, the results have been, for the most part, pretty darn positive, especially for the major companies operating on the main island of Honshu JR East, JR Central and JR West. These companies, serving the most populous and economically vibrant regions, became highly profitable. They invested heavily in upgrading their services, renovating stations, and even diversifying into related businesses like retail, real estate, and hotels, often centered around their major stations. These profitable JR companies continued to uphold and even improve upon the high standards of punctuality and safety that Japanese railways were known for. They introduced new train models, enhanced passenger comfort, and streamlined operations. The competition, even if it was primarily between different JR entities rather than direct head-to-head on the same routes, seemed to spur innovation. For example, they developed sophisticated online booking systems and loyalty programs. The focus on customer service sharpened, as attracting and retaining passengers became even more crucial for their financial success. In many ways, privatization unleashed a new wave of dynamism in the railway sector. Section 9. Lessons from the land of the rising sun and fast trains. So, what can the rest of the world, with our often creaking, delayed, and generally frustrating train systems, learn from Japan's railway saga? Well, quite a lot actually. First and foremost is the power of long-term vision and consistent investment. The Shinkansen wasn't built overnight, and its success wasn't accidental. It was the result of decades of planning, engineering prowess, and sustained financial commitment. Too many countries treat their railways as an afterthought, only investing when things are falling apart. Japan shows that proactive, ambitious investment in rail can transform a nation's economy and connectivity. It's about thinking big and sticking with it. Another key lesson is the relentless focus on operational excellence, particularly punctuality and safety. This isn't just a nice-to-have, it's fundamental to building public trust and encouraging ridership.